Carol Yeh-Garner is a wife and mom to two teenagers. She lives in South California and got her master's degree in social work thinking that was part of her path. Her life switched dramatically when she used hypnobirthing, a natural birthing method, for her first child 20 years ago. She learned that she could be proactive about her birth process, and that transferred into her life. She started researching ingredients and eventually found a company that she trusted. She never planned to become a Young Living brand partner, but she loved what the products did for her and her family, and she's the type that shares information and resources with her friends, so she started to share. After a lot of work, she made it to the top ranks of the company, and now she and her husband work full-time helping people become proactive about their health and their wellness. You can learn more about Carol at her website, www.carolyehgarner.com, which I also have in the show notes. But the best place to learn more is to follow her on Instagram at allwellivedlife, which is also in the show notes. She shares life hacks, teaches about clean living, and more. You can DM her through her IG as well in order to get wellness tips. Awesome. So, Carol, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. I know you are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to environmental medicine, heavy metals, oils as well. So, number one, thank you for being here. Thank you for providing your wisdom to my audience. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's start off. So how did you get into kind of environmental medicine? What did that journey look like?
It's just been a journey of self-discovery, really. I was pregnant and wanted to make sure that I was exposing myself and my newborn or unborn baby to the least amount of chemicals possible. I was never an organic, crunchy, holistic person growing up, but once I got pregnant, I was like, I got to take this seriously because I have this human being that I'm responsible for. So I started using certified organic products and, limiting things. But then I learned later that even organic products can have petrochemicals in them because petrochemicals are based from petroleum, which used to be rotting leaves thousands of years ago. But as long as it has some kind of carbon in it, it can be certified as an organic property or an organic ingredient.
Oh.
But petroleum-based ingredients are nothing that you want to be putting on your skin or ingesting or having go into your bloodstream because they are known carcinogens, right?
Right.
So I was shocked when I learned that this certified organic baby wash and, lotion that I was using, that they had petroleum-based ingredients in them and all these other things that, seemed like they were better, but weren't. So that really opened my eyes up to the term greenwashing, which is just a marketing ploy for companies to be able to market things as cleaner or more natural or pure, or the packaging has like green leaves and looks, more eco-conscious. And even though it might look like it's branded to be a healthy, clean product, that there can be hidden ingredients in there or just hidden things. Solvents that have to take the coconut oil out of the coconut that don't have to be on the ingredient list, right? That are toxic solvents. So I'm a researcher and I just started researching things myself and learning things, and I love to share information. So that's how my journey started. So my son is going to be 20. So that was 20 years ago. And so it's
Incredible.
just been, 20 years of lots of learning and shocking information and continuing to learn and share.
Well, hey, the world needs you, seriously, because this information is really, really important. And when you realize how much it impacts you on, a disease level, when you're talking about root cause medicine, it is scary when you go down the rabbit hole. And I'm curious, I know a lot of us struggle with sourcing products that aren't greenwashed and that are good. And, even something as simple as dishwash, like I was looking for, a clean dishwash, and I was looking in the organic aisle. And it's like there's still chemicals in there. There's still contents in there that are going to be going directly into my skin.
Right.
So then it's like, what's the solution? Do I choose the lesser evil, or, like, what do I do moving forward? So how do you do that? How do you navigate the world of selecting products?
Yeah, it's hard. Constantly looking at ingredients and really using a critical mind to try and think like, how does this affect you? So a lot of people will think like, dishwashing liquid, like, why would you care? Like as long as it's like sort of clean, like I'm cleaning my dishes. But then if you think about the fact that like whatever you're washing your dishes with and putting on the dryer, like that residue is sitting there. And when you drink from that cup or you eat off that plate, you're eating the residue. So if it has a dye, a colored dye, that's toxic. If it has a fragrance, the fragrance, even in those natural brands, they use fragrance that typically is synthetic or is extracted from the plant in a not so healthy way. So again, that's a hidden ingredient that they're not going to put there. They'll just say fragrance, and fragrance is a loophole. The government put out a law that protects companies from actually identifying all the ingredients in fragrance because each company has a trade secret for their fragrance. Okay. So there's thousands of chemicals that can be put under that fragrance umbrella that can be known carcinogens, but the companies don't have to report that. So when you look on the products of your lotion, of your shampoo, we expose ourselves, especially as women, we expose ourselves to like 100 products a day, just living.
Yeah.
And so if you think about the endocrine disruptors that are in fragrance and the toxins, we're overexposing ourselves. So I did find a brand that I love, and it's Young Living, and I scoured all of the ingredients, and they are hyper vigilant about ensuring that the ingredients that they put into their products are safe. The fragrances are from essential oils that are grown with no GMOs, no pesticides, distilled in medical grade stainless steel with low heat, low steam. So like they do all of these things just to ensure that like every little bit of whatever is in the product is as safe as it can be. And they're constantly upgrading and up leveling and reformulating as they learn stuff, because things constantly are changing.
Right. I actually haven't looked at Young Living products. I do know about them. What kind of products do they offer?
So they're most well known for their essential oils, which basically, you can use for pretty much anything that you have going on in your daily life, stress, emotional grounding, but then also like those everyday aches and pains. But then they also have an amazing home cleaning line. So like the liquid dish soap, laundry detergent,
nice,
household cleaner, and they're all super concentrated. There's no water in them or minimal water. So you're really getting a ton of bang for your buck with their products, and you can make them last for months.
nice.
But then they also have like lotion, toothpaste, shampoo, kids line, pet line, like everything. We've pretty much replaced, I'd say like 95% of the products in our home to Young Living.
Nice.
And then, they just ship to our home. And
yeah, I mean, it's necessary. It's like you said, I mean, I haven't seen, my own personal journey, obviously starts with chronic illness, and I was diagnosed with PCOS. And then you learn about, BPA and all of the endocrine disruptors. And then I went down to kind of like the fertility rabbit hole, right? So, and I know it's scary when you start like thinking about everything. It's like
overwhelming.
Okay, right? It's like you're looking at your deodorant, and then you're looking at your makeup, and then all of your shower products and your shampoos, and then you're like, and then you go to the kitchen and you're doing liquid, like it is overwhelming. And I always suggest, start with one thing, use up your product, switch it out, like, and use like the most important things, like deodorant, for instance, it's going straight into your skin. It's going straight into your lymphatic system. Just that's one of the most important things that you can switch out. And then again, with like skin products, like you just said, like lotions, detergents, your skin is a sponge. Anything that you touch is going straight into your skin, straight into your body, and it stays there sometimes, depending on how your detoxification and elimination pathways are working. So exploring products like Young Living, like I'm going to actually, do a little write-up on Young Living and help people kind of have access to those products too. And then I know you probably share about them on your page as well. Yeah. Okay. So you guys can also check that out on Carol's Instagram page, which will also be in the show notes. I do want to talk about heavy metals in terms of environmental toxins. What are you seeing there with heavy metals?
Yeah. I mean, it's in our water, right? Like it's everywhere. It's unavoidable. So the more that we can just ensure that we can't control everything. And like you said, it's overwhelming. Like when you start thinking about like all of the things that we are exposing ourselves to, and like it It's not something that typically people are doing. Like, I'm just going to clear my house all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So it is a journey. It's like, take one room at a time or take one product at a time. As soon as you start, getting to a third of that bottle of shampoo, switch it out for the new one. But heavy metals, they go to the brain, right? They are known neurotoxins. And so if you can get water filtration in your home, if that's something that you can afford, there are actually Brita type water filters that actually take out all the good stuff. So I can give you that link as well. So if you can't do a whole house water filtration system, or you can't afford reverse osmosis, there are options. Berkey water filters are also great. So just knowing what you're exposing yourself to, because we want to avoid the neurotoxins, they go to the brain, and we want to avoid those endocrine hormone disrupting chemicals, especially as women, even men, right? And I have teenage kids, so I want to make sure they have long-term healthy fertility.
100%. Yep. And that's becoming an issue, especially nowadays with, the compounding factor. A lot of people don't realize that things compound. And, when you look at, FDA regulations and stuff like that, they're looking at micro amounts of these products, which is fine if you are taking it in that micro amount. The problem is that you keep taking it in that micro amount. And what happens is bioaccumulation, it stacks.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden you have a toxin amount in your body that is toxic and you're getting symptoms from it, but nobody's acknowledging that that's even happening.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
The rate of autoimmune issues is sky high, right? Diabetes is sky high. And everyone's wondering, like, why?
Yeah.
It's because we're constantly exposing ourselves to all of these toxic products. Our bodies are meant to flush out the toxins. Like, that's what your liver, your kidneys, like all of your organs are helping to flush things out. But like you said, if we're exposing ourselves to hundreds of things, these micro amounts, but every day, multiple times a day, our bodies can't handle it. So then they hold on to it, and then it impacts and compounds, and that bioaccumulation happens. And then your body can't function the way that it needs to or wants to. And that's when disease happens. That's when symptoms happen. And when you can start peeling away the layers and figuring out, like, oh, my laundry detergent or that scent booster that I love to make my laundry smell fresh and clean for 3 months. Like, maybe there's something in there that maybe might not be good for me,
Yeah. I love that. Lasts for 3 months. Actually, one of the things that I've noticed too is food. And it's scary. I mean, we know about GMO food, we know about the altering of food, but also the absence of things going bad in my fridge. Like I've had an apple in the back that's probably been there for like 4 months, and I'm just like experimenting with it. I'm like, when is this thing gonna go bad? You know what I mean? It's supposed to, but it's not. So, I mean, that's a whole other spectrum. I don't know how much you know about GMO. Is that something that you've kind of investigated as well?
Yeah. And I mean, I've done my own, Google research. I'm not a scientist by any means, but, when GMO stuff is killing birds and killing bees and killing animals that are eating the food that has the GMOs, and, I would think that, like, that's not good for my body.
For sure.
I just did a reel today that posted about that new spray that is going on food called A-Peel.
Yeah.
And like, that's horrifying. Like, it comes in the guise of like, let's be helpful and make food last months. But like, food should not last for months, like real food. Right. And so like, we need to take it on our responsibility, on our shoulders, to do the research, to do the things to make sure that we are staying in control of our health and wellness, because there is nobody out there that's looking out for us.
No.
And so that's why I love, what you're doing in your podcast, and what all of us like wellness warriors are doing, because people, not everybody has the time or desire to do the research. So that's like, that just like keeps pushing me to keep going, is because I know like there's one person that wants to know the information that I'm sharing, and that hopefully will have their mind blown open and expanded to the idea that like, whoa, I had no idea. And just that one little bit of information can start unlocking, everything. And so it's just really, really so important that we continue doing this work and sharing and educating people.
Yeah. And I'm noticing, like, I mean, the TikTok platform has been fantastic
Mm-hmm.
because that information is kind of, I mean, it's going viral, right? People are asking questions. They're saying a lot of my patients actually come in, and it's funny because they'll do like kind of the screening, be like, I know I was on TikTok and I probably shouldn't be. And I'm like, TikTok is great. I have nothing
Yeah,
against TikTok because you're probably going to see information that you wouldn't have otherwise come across.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
the most powerful is anecdotal. People take information, they go
Mm-hmm.
and do it, and then they get results and they share it with you. And to me, if you can reproduce those results in people, that's way more valuable than an RCT that was paid by a $1 million company that wants a specific result. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
the real gem of information. So, I mean, there
Mm-hmm.
is, studies that are great and provide information,
Sure.
but I really value anecdotal information. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So in terms of, are you working with people? Do you work as kind of a health coach or?
Yeah, everybody that comes to me, I help them figure out, what are the issues that you want to address, and then I kind of customize what they want to work on based on their budget. And
Yeah.
so we have a product education group on Facebook that has 32,000 members. It's been
Nice.
around for, I think, 8 years now, 7 years. So pretty much like 99% of things have been discussed in there.
Yeah.
So that's a wealth of information, but I'm always available for anybody to ask questions and help, even if they don't become a Young Living customer. Like, I just want to help people know the information that they need to know so that they can feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Because 10 years ago, before I started Young Living, I was a stressed out mom. I had a 7 and a 9-year-old. I was working 2 jobs. My husband was a first grade teacher. We were constantly getting sick. We had this revolving cycle of sickness.
Mm-hmm.
I was overtired, stressed out, depressed, didn't know it,
Yeah.
denied it, and not healthy. And now it's like completely flip flopped. I'm 53 years old. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Nice.
And it's all because I've decided to do the work and change things for myself and my family and
Mm-hmm.
make those changes with the products and the things that we do and the medical care providers that we go to and all those kinds of things. It really, really does make a difference. You don't know what you don't know till you know it, right? Like, we
Exactly.
go through our lives thinking this is the way life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to go to the doctor. I'm supposed to get this pill. It's supposed to just make me better. And then if I have a side effect, I get another pill. And like, I just always am supposed to go to the doctor to like go and get things taken care of. But doctors only know what they're taught.
Yeah.
I used to teach hypnobirthing, and that's a natural childbirth method, right? Using self-hypnosis. And I would have OBGYNs come and take my classes. I'd have OB nurses come and take my classes. And I would always laugh because I'd ask them, how many times did you see natural birth on purpose when you were training? Most of them would say 0. Some of them would say, well, I maybe saw 1 because it was too late for them to get anything. And when they would take the class, their minds would just be blown open, because natural birth is natural, right? What we know in America is Western medicine, medicalized birth. And so like, that's the same for every doctor. They know what they're taught. And unless they look outside the boxes, just like we have to look outside the boxes, nobody knows the whole story. And it's constantly, I think it's fun to find the information, do the research. Not everybody likes to do that.
Right.
But, I think it's up to us to make those decisions, to start thinking like critically, like, is this good for me?
Mm-hmm.
How is this good for me? And what can I do different? Are there alternatives? Right.
Yeah. It comes back to that cause and effect. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, that's my obsession is, cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect. What are you putting in your body and what's the effect of it? And a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times people struggle with the timeline of cause and effect, right? They don't realize that the things that they're putting in are causing effects. It's not necessarily instant. And that's where
Right.
the human, short-term gratification, it's like, okay, well, that couldn't have been it because that
Mhm.
was a year ago, or that couldn't have
Right.
been it because that was 5 years ago. But it took
Mhm.
5 years or 10 years to show up in your body. But your mind, it's fallible. It's not going to see that cause and effect.
Right.
So
Totally.
starting
Mhm.
with those little things, I'm curious what kind of chronic illness you're seeing on your end in your community, or what seems to kind of be increasing in prevalence.
Yeah, I'd say definitely autoimmune issues have been pretty rampant lately. Heart issues,
Yep.
um, allergies are always an issue, but
Hmm.
yeah, autoimmune stuff has been pretty huge.
Okay.
Fertility as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of same on my end as well. And
Mhm.
what kind of protocols do you do specifically to support those people?
I mean, the first thing I do is help them get rid of the toxins in their home and the toxins that they're putting on their body. So I help them get rid of those products. And then there's oils and different supplements and stuff that can help support the body's natural processes so that it can do what it's supposed to do
Hmm.
versus be stuck in that cycle of not healthy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I know you are an oil expert, so I want to dive into that a little bit because I
Mhm.
I will be honest, I don't know much about oils. And my sister-in-law loves oils, uses them on her kids, swears
Mhm.
by them. She's used them
Yeah.
for things like croup. So, yeah,
Mhm.
how did you get into oils and how did that kind of like manifest?
Yeah. So before 10 years ago when I started Young Living, I had heard about an oil called thieves oil
Mhm.
years and years ago. And it was based on a recipe back from the days of the bubonic plague. So back in the days of the bubonic plague, these thieves slathered themselves with herbs and spices, and they would go and rob the dying and the dead, but they wouldn't get the plague. And when they got caught, the police said, "We'll give you a lesser sentence if you tell us what the secret was." So they were apothecaries and they knew like the magic of spices and herbs. So this bottle of thieves has those same spices and herbs in it.
Okay.
But I was a college student back at that time and I was like, I can't afford a 30 something dollar bottle of oil. Like that's crazy. So I just kind of blew it off. And then when my kids were little, we were having that revolving cycle of sickness. And I remember thieves. So I just Googled and I found the recipe and I went to the store, health food store, got the health, food store, bought oils,
Okay.
and thought like, I don't need to get like that 30 something dollar of oil. Like that's a scam. I'll just get these store-bought oils, which are like $5 each.
Okay.
And I was using them. I was even taking them internally, even though like the bottle said don't take internally. But I was like, the label says it's 100% pure and natural. Like, it's just one of those stupid labeling things.
Okay.
But we weren't getting healthy. And so in 2013, I was like, I think I can afford this 30 something dollar bottle of oil. I'm going to give it a try and see what the hype is about. And I ended up getting this bundle of products, and tried something for allergies. And
Okay.
so like can't say it because the FDA doesn't want us to say it. So I'll just speak in code word.
Hmm.
But like it really, really helped me. And I posted that on my social media. And then all the people that I know in San Diego that are dealing with that they were like, wait, what? And so that helped. And then we started using the thieves and our family stayed healthy that winter, which was like the first fall/winter season that we, didn't have that revolving cycle. And so
Nice.
I was not planning on doing this as a business. I was planning on just using them for my personal benefit and, share here and there, but people wanted them and wanted to buy them for me. And so that it just kind of snowballed. It was not an intentional thing,
Yeah.
but it's now become my full-time business and I love it because I get to help empower people not only reduce their exposure to toxins, but I get to help them be proactive about their life.
Yeah.
Because, like your sister, to be able to teach your kids when they're little, hey, if you have something going on, you can reach for this oil and
Mhm.
be proactive.
Yeah.
Same for me. Like, I just used to live with the aches and pains of life, of getting older, right? Just like getting out of bed was hard,
Yeah.
standing up
Yeah.
and like, like, oh my God, my back and this and that, and just throughout the day, it was constantly like, this getting older thing sucks.
Yeah.
But, there are solutions that can help you not feel like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how my journey started. It was not intentional, but here we are.
I love that. I really wish, honestly, I always say, people who are blessed with the childhood of, parents who were into alternative medicine or herbs or oils and stuff
Mhm.
like that. You grow up with a toolkit that people,
Yeah.
don't have. And, specifically like us, we always ran to the doctor. That was,
Mhm.
you have an ear infection, you go to the doctor. You
Yep.
have sore throat, you go to the doctor. I was at the doctor a lot for,
Yeah.
strep throat and all of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So the amount of antibiotics going into my system when you can really just take an oil like you can.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I can't say that clinically because
Right.
technically, strep throat, it can be serious.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of people who swear by these oils.
Yeah.
And I think, where it becomes difficult, and this was me personally, is I find it very overwhelming, the world of oils.
Mhm.
It's like, where do I
Yeah.
start? Like I take my oregano oil, and that's kind of like the one that I'm okay with.
Right.
But it's
Mhm.
like I don't know the world, and I think a lot of people feel that way. So how would people get into oils? Like, what would you recommend for that?
Well, there used to be a really great guidebook called the Essential Oil Pocket Reference or the
Okay.
Essential Oil Desk Reference, but that has gone out of publication. So
Darn.
it is a challenge because, well, like Young Living has like over, I don't know, 200 something different oils. Like
Right.
I don't even know what all the oils do for all the things.
Yeah.
I'm still constantly learning. So I would just say, like, if you're going to get into oils, make sure that you're connected with somebody that knows how to find the information that you need, so that you don't have to search through Google and whatever, and know that there's a difference in quality.
Yeah.
The store-bought oils that I bought, they're great for a smell, but there's nobody monitoring the accuracy of what's on the label. The
Right.
labels can say 100% pure and natural, but nobody's checking to see what's in it. And there's a reel that I have pinned on my Instagram that shows a competing store-bought company, and they're distilling in an aluminum drum with
Mhm.
fire underneath, no temperature gauge, into a muddy pit of
Mhm.
water where they're scooping the oil out of this muddy pit and
Mhm.
pouring it into a bottle. They're going to the oil market and buying the oils from the source, from the actual farmers, and they're in reused water bottles. And then the video is saying, like, and we test it every time, and they're testing and they're putting like this dirty stick in, and if it floats it's
Okay.
pure. And so, like, contrast that to you know land that is virgin land, no chemicals for 50 plus years. That's even better than certified organic. No GMOs, no pesticides, harvesting by hand, by tool, by machinery, based on the plant and what it does the best with.
Okay.
Distilling in medical grade stainless steel with low steam, low heat to really keep that plant magic intact, right? Those molecules stay alive in the Young Living oils because of that process. And then tested in triplicate with multi-million-dollar labs to ensure there is no mold, no bacteria, no heavy metals, like all those things. So there's a huge drastic difference in quality and purity. And you want to make sure that you're using the oils correctly because they are so powerful. So you're not going to douse yourself with a whole bottle of oil the way
No.
that you might with a store-bought brand. And so I would just encourage people, find somebody that there's somebody that does essential oils, whether it's Young Living or another brand that's not a store-bought brand. Find somebody and use them as a resource.
Mhm. Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I know that was one of the concerns was the heavy metal toxicity
Mhm.
in oils. And there are different grades of oils. I don't know if you can actually talk about the different brands. Is that something you're allowed to comment?
Not really allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to talk
I mean,
badly about other brands. And everybody can also just do their own research. But if you aren't, you want to know how the oils are sourced. You
right.
want to know how the oils are distilled, because like I said, those store-bought oils, that one company who has this video on YouTube, you can find it.
Yep.
They're distilling in aluminum drums,
Yep.
and that's leaching into the product. And so, yes, you can buy oils for much, much cheaper than Young Living, but what are you getting?
100%. And that goes
Right.
goes for everything, right? It's
All
same
products,
like
right.
coffee products.
Yes.
You know, you've got the mold in them,
Right.
you've got all of that other pesticides, herbicides. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
you become kind of um I don't know, you look at under everything under a microscope, right? Like
Yeah.
every single product pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, where is it coming from? One of the things that
Mhm.
actually surprised me, I'm going off topic a little bit, was the pink Himalayan
Oh, I
salt.
know.
Yeah, right? I was like,
Yes.
"Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting because I
I
was."
know. I was like, "Oh, man,
Yeah,
another thing."
right? So for those of you who don't actually know the whole pink Himalayan salt thing, a lot of us, you know, who were on their wellness journey thought pink Himalayan salt was supposed to be the best salt. It was supposed to be like the one that was good for you, the most absorption. What I found out was that it's actually they use explosives in order to kind of get it out of the caves, so that the remnants of the explosives and the metals of that you know, extraction process end up in the product and then end up in you. And one of the things that people noticed is that pets specifically, or animals, were licking pink Himalayan salt lamps, or
Mm.
eating pink Himalayan salt, and it was becoming lethal. They were coming either,
Oh.
you know, killing them, or they
Mm.
were coming very sick. So the best salt that I personally use now is Celtic sea salt.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know who Barbara O'Neill is, but
Mm. Yeah, I've heard of
yeah,
her.
yeah, she talks a lot about Celtic sea salt and how it actually
Mhm.
goes into the cell. But yeah, that was
Mhm.
the story of, unfortunately, pink Himalayan.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
constant evolution and journey of like, okay, we thought that was good. Oh crap. Now we gotta
Yeah.
pivot and like learn. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, anyways, thank you, Carol, so much for being on the
Yeah.
show today. It's like I said, this information is so powerful, and I know a lot of people are going to come your way. Yeah, I know you've got the Facebook community, so that'll be a valuable resource for people
Mhm.
too. What's the best way for people to reach you, and what do you prefer?
They can contact me through my Instagram, which is a well lived life, AWELL, and then lived with a D life. And they can just DM me.
Awesome. And I love your Wellness Warrior t-shirt. Are those for sale?
Yeah, I have them for sale in my shop.
Okay, there
I'll
you
send you
go.
the link.
I was gonna say we all need to get those t-shirts and wear
I
them. Love
know,
them.
right?
Yep. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you for everything that you do. Really appreciate, you know, you sharing this knowledge and educating people. And thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love sharing this information. And, like I said before, I appreciate what you do as well, parasites, and just helping people just open their minds about what they're doing to improve their health is so important.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.